trained, highly qualified person answering that telephone that's going to reassure them and provide them the services that they need. Being a dispatcher, you need to be very, very versed in multitasking. And multitasking, I mean, is being able to answer phones, talk to people in person, talk to somebody who might stand there. Answering the counter. As you know, our dispatchers are the ones that answer the counter when somebody comes to the police department and needs something. It takes a certain person to be a multitasker, and they do a great job. And I'll tell you, the folks that work in restaurants that have to multitask probably make some of the best dispatchers. They're the ones that have to serve food, take orders, here's somebody asking for something, and multitude of things. And when you're a multitasker, you make a good dispatcher. And empirical evidence shows that dispatching is one of the most stressful jobs and stressful professions that we have in our community. And so it's stressful at times. We're a small department. There might be time when you have one dispatcher working, and most of the time you have two. But besides answering the phones, they have a myriad of tasks to complete. They have to enter data from reports, enter data from citations, try to decipher the writing of an officer who scrabbles a ticket out and try to figure out what they're trying to say, to answering the counter. And those are many tasks that they're basically responsible for. And we appreciate it when we get a quality person to join our family as a dispatcher. Morgan Denise, who will introduce you here today. Secondly, being a police corporal, and I want to thank council for approving us to have 2 more corporals. Corporals are the first line supervisors. Not only are the officers having to take police reports, make car stops, talk to the community members, handle calls, things like that, they are the first line supervisor. They're the ones that are responsible to make sure that our police department runs smoothly, that there are things that can cause departments to get into a situation where they expose themselves to liability, and those are things that corporals must always ensure that they are on top of. And whether it's use of force, whether it's handling a very complex investigation and crime, they're the ones that are going to ensure that that is handled properly. There also are the disciplinarians. There's low-level acts of misconduct. They have to make sure that they ensure that the officers and dispatchers are doing what they're supposed to do. You sure you want this job, Robbie? But they do a lot, and they do a lot for our community, and I'm just proud of both of them, both Robert Hazelwood and Morgan Denise. So with that, I'm going to have Morgan step up to the front so we can introduce her. Right in the center, and you can face the fantastic room full of folks that are here today. So, anyways, Morgan is a local gal. She grew up in Atwater. She went to Buhack Colony High School, and she wanted to go in law enforcement. So she went to Stan State to study criminal justice, and then she went over to Merced College, where she received her Associates of Arts degree in criminal justice. She's had a couple jobs before she came here. She works at Foster Farms. I think she has a cheering squad here from Foster Farms. She's a long-time server, and again, she's a servant. She has a servant's heart, and that's why I think she's going to be a great dispatcher. As well as working at Foster Farms, she also worked at Applebee's for a short time. Last year, she was hired by the Atwater Police Department as a dispatcher, part-time, and we're very thrilled to have her working for us full-time as a public safety dispatcher. Some of the things that you may not know, she's a huge Disney fan. So I asked her what her likes are. She said everything Disney. In fact, she's got a season pass to Disneyland, and I think my family was there about the same time she was. Not unbeknownst to me, she was down there at Disneyland enjoying Disneyland. I think everybody likes Disneyland. So attending tonight's ceremony are her parents, Frank and Michelle, niece, and her sister Lauren, and obviously the cheer squad from Foster Farms. And I'm going to have her mother, Michelle, come up and present her with her badge. Next, I'd like to invite Robert Hazelwood up to the front. You guys know we introduced Robbie when he was actually first hired as an officer here in Livingston. We're fortunate. And he rose, I'm going to say rose to the rank very quickly. And in fact, I think you want to be, don't you want to take lieutenant's job soon, or maybe a captain, something like, we got to get you up there. Chief, okay. I'll be gone soon, you can take it. So Robbie grew up in Union City and later moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where he graduated from Trinity Catholic High School. While in high school, Robert played ice hockey and continues to play ice hockey today. Today's one of those days I wish I was on the ice because of the heat. But after high school, he attended Chabot College in Hayward and received his Associate of Arts degree in Administration of Justice, and shortly thereafter went on to become a member of the California High Patrol. I said it then, and I'll say it now. No offense to any other retired CHP officers in this room. You look better in blues. One thing about Robbie as well is he's a huge Disney fan. He also has a season pass and takes his... So I got to figure out how to get adopted by one of these so I can go to Disneyland. Disney. And you guys are both in good company because Deanna Soria and Lieutenant Soria both are huge fans of Disney, so... Not as much as Chris. So attending tonight is Robbie's father, David Hazelwood, who served the California High Patrol for 32 years and retired as a sergeant. So thank you for your service. I'm going to say you probably taught Robbie everything he knows about police work, right? No. And his wife and David's wife, Marina. And also in attendance is Robbie's wife, Jenna, and their kids, Ryan and Audrey, and who also are probably big Disney fans. So with that, I'm going to have, Jenna, if you can step up, we're going to have you pin on Robbie's badge for me. Thank you. I'd like to also present them with one of our police challenge coins. This reflects the values of our department: courage, compassion, and integrity. Next, I'd like to invite Mayor Pro Tem Samra up here to administer the oath of office for both of them.
First of all, I just want to say we as elected officials get many perks, and one of the best ones we get is when we get to swear in a new employee, especially in public works, public safety, you know, and nothing gives us more honor than to have our law enforcement out there. And one of these days, I will find out, and maybe Chief can explain. I've been involved with the police department over the years. I never did understand why we always call our dispatchers by their first name and officers by their last name. I never understood that. So we always say, you know, in case Morgan, or in this one, we would never say, Robert would say Hazelwood. You know, we never figured that out. But
that's a good point.
Do you know why that is?
I don't. I think it's just a culture over the years.
Yeah, I think so. It's been always been that way, you know. But so what we're going to do now, I'm going to swear you folks in, and then I'm going to say a few parts of it, and you just repeat after me, and when we finish, we'll end up by saying, I do, okay? All right, so we're going to do it at the same time. Go ahead and raise your right hand, please. I state your name. Do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to
Corporal?
introduce Dispatcher Morgan Denise and Corporal Robert Hazelwood.
Now, we're going to take a 5-minute break, so if anybody wants to come up and take photos, please feel free to do so. We're doing a 5-minute adjournment.
Thank you.
Okay, just for the record, at 7:25, we're back in session. And we'll go on to announcements and reports. Supervisor Espinoza is not here. He's at a conference. And I see staff already lining up, and I see our Public Works.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the public. Anthony Chevria, Public Works. I'm here this evening to present Public Works monthly report.
Just click it. No, it takes a little bit to the signal, but it'll come back. So go back.
Sorry, folks, we have to put some money in for professional development on how to use a clicker.
Here we go. Here's a picture of our first slide. On August 8, 2017, the city held a workshop called the Community's Vision. I would like to update council on a few of the topics that were talked about and what has been accomplished since then. One of the topics was community pride. Public Works continues to keep our city parks and landscape areas clean and green. I like that. I think we're going to make that Public Works motto, clean and green. Even though it's been a little bit difficult lately with the triple-digit temperatures. Another topic that was talked about is investment in youth, more youth activities. Public Works has built goalposts and placed them at Arkelian Park for practice, and that'll accommodate 10 U teams as well if they want to play games out there. We're also looking at adding a second full-size adult soccer field at the Max Foster Sports Complex. Another topic was preserve and friendly to farming community. The city values and appreciates our farming community and have been leasing out acreage at the wastewater plant to grow alfalfa. Improved infrastructure. The city is currently on phase 3 of the CDBG waterline replacement program. And has also been working with MCAG on creating a pavement management system that will assist in helping the city maintain and rehabilitate our city streets. Another topic was safety. The community requested a lighted crosswalk on Main and J Street, and that project has been completed. These are just a few of the topics and the projects that Public Works has assisted on. I'll touch more on projects as we reach more of the goals and visions of the workshop. Next slide, Jose. Will it come up? No. Okay. Okay, I apologize if there's no pictures to see, but the next slide was a picture of our crane truck. We just purchased a crane truck. Well, there it is there. This is a great addition to the public works sector. This is going to help us with water leaks. It'll be utilized on sewer repairs, storm drain repairs. It's going to allow staff to provide preventive maintenance on sewer lift station, allow staff to respond to emergencies. Before, we'd call a crane truck and it'd take hours before it got here, so this is really going to facilitate emergencies. Update in well 17 ferric injection system. Tank and the chemical pumps have been installed and plumbed. As you can see in the picture there, there's the pump skid. We have 2 pumps on there. Just in case one goes out, we do have an alternate backup so we can maintain pumping. The ferric tank is in the back. Everything is plumbed in. We're awaiting programming integration, which will happen next week. Our LMD crew. There's a picture of Adrian up there. They continue to maintain all our maintenance district, and as you know, we got quite a bit of landscape to maintain out there. They also repair irrigation, plumbing issues, apply herbicides, fertilize, replace solenoids, and program timers and replace timers. They're doing a really great job out there. Here's a picture of a new soccer goalpost at our Kellyan Park. This was built from scratch by one of our CVOC workers, Baltimore. So now we'll be able to have practice out at that park, so we won't be as congested in the other parks. We still got a little bit more work to do out there in leveling some of the low spots, but as I mentioned earlier in the Visions workshop, we'll be able to accommodate 10 U games in the future there. Here's a picture of our streets department, crack sealing on Walnut. Next on the list, we're gonna crack seal parts of Main Street and take care of the areas around the schools before we do start school. And also they'll start painting curb sidewalk areas around the schools too before we do start. It's another picture of the streets crew cleaning our storm drain pump stations. Day by day, garbage finds its way into our gutters and storm inlets. City staff removes the garbage and debris to keep our pumps from failing. It's important that we keep our pump stations clean so we're able to keep up with storm events as they take place. It's a picture of our wastewater department maintaining our collection system. Again, this is important infrastructure to maintain and keep our wastewater flowing. If we do experience a backup, that'll cause SSO, which is a sanitary sewer overflow. This picture of the wastewater department, the guys continue to provide maintenance at these lift stations. As you can see, they did some painting here on some of the gates here and putting up new signage. They've been cleaning the circuitry in these lift station panels. As you know, dust and circuitry aren't a good mix. They've been doing a good job keeping everything clean in there. Another picture of the guys cutting vegetation at the wastewater plant. Nobody likes to do it, but it got to get done. Picture of our Kellyan walk path. Another picture. It's a little more than halfway complete. We've got about 2 more phases to do and it'll be complete. Last picture is of the Hammond overpass vegetation. Caltrans has finished replanting the burned vegetation at the Hammond overpass. Caltrans does a great job keeping our 99 corridor clean and green, and we appreciate and value the partnership with them. That's it for the presentation. Sorry I had to run through it. Wanted the pictures for you guys to see the pictures, so I kind of went a little fast. Any questions?
Council, any questions? No, I just want to say that I've heard from the citizens out there a lot of good things about Public Works.
Great.
It's this city looks very clean, and people are really working hard out there. So I want to give kudos to your entire department.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see engineering department. Engineering, go ahead. One thing about engineering, we know they'll never have a PowerPoint presentation.
There you go. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, members of the public. Just a quick update on Winton Parkway on removing the bottleneck. Now the city does have has secured funds for a permanent repair, so it's a little more involved than what we were planning to do with a temporary one. And so we have engaged Caltrans. We are working with geotechnical engineers to see what it can be done in terms of filling that ravine there, or maybe doing a wall. So that's what we're doing now. It takes a little, obviously more time, so we're hoping to sit down with Caltrans by the end of August and then go from there. So I will get you some more updates as we go along, and I'll be glad to take any questions.
Any questions for engineering? Thank you.
Thank you.
I see code enforcement moving up.
Good evening. So again, thank you for letting us be here, and hope the pictures look okay. So just a quick reminder, I know sometimes people have questions, especially in the public, about where our jurisdiction is. It's actually fairly small. Right now, probably over half of the cases I have are outside of the jurisdiction, but that is where we're supposed to be, but we are addressing other issues due to some of the cases and needs out there.
Just a quick comment. That is correct. Code enforcement, we received a grant, and this grant basically covers the expenses within these census tracts. However, we do, with their assistance, we tackle other issues throughout the city, and those are basically paid independently with our general fund.
Thank you, sir. So we've been here just about a year now. Just kind of wanted to touch on a couple things. We've been working really hard to develop a relationship with the community, mirror the city manager's vision about how code enforcement is addressed and the process that we're going through, and just kind of wanted to touch on a few aspects of it. The program really seems to be gaining some steam, and we're definitely very, very busy right now. So I just wanted to kind of touch base on a couple of the properties that some of them are out there. They're going to be out there for a while. This one has been a problem property. I'm not getting any compliance, so this one will be a bit of a test case to see how far we're going to go with things. We will proceed, and unfortunately, no matter how many notices I'm sending, the property seems to be kind of declining. So some of our properties that we're handling are significant. There's a lot of issues going on, and it takes some time, but when these properties are cleaned up, it really does impact a neighborhood. This is another one, Alicante Gardens. The big sort of moment starting this month is we met with the property owner, came up with a game plan we're going to be going through and addressing everything. He's been given a punch list of what all he needs to do to bring the property into compliance. And when we're done, I'm anticipating a very different looking apartment complex. Again, people probably see this one out there. We're sitting on, the fire department's been donated the building for a training burn, and due to their scheduling, it's just keeps getting put off, but just letting people know we are aware. I'm out checking just to make sure, oh, did it go? No, not yet, so, but hopefully soon. This has been an interesting case. This one came in a few months ago. According to one of the RPs, this one has been a problem property for, in their words, over 20 years. The pictures on the left tell you a little bit of a story about the backyard. The ones on the right give you a little bit. They're not in compliance yet, but the property owner has hauled out quite a bit of debris. It looks much better, but we're not there yet. But again, significant improvement, and it makes a difference in a neighborhood. This is another property, sort of like Alicante Gardens. This one is Liberty Plaza. There's a lot of issues going on, so when we're done, I'm looking at it as sort of a landmark property that it's going to look a lot different than what it did before. Maybe not significantly in terms of a new makeover, but it'll have an improved appearance. A lot of the issues that were there will be resolved, and it'll just be a more inviting place and something that the community can have more pride in.
Lee, if you can do us a favor and share some of the actual issues, like dead trees.
Correct. We had dead trees. In the second picture from the right, if you notice, that is an accumulation of charcoal and ash from when they are doing the cooking and the barbecue out front, and it runs almost half the length along the fence line behind the building. It's a significant patch in between all the redwood trees. So I was at first like, oh my gosh. So we have issues that are a little more profound like that. We have garbage, debris, improper garbage
Sprinklers
management.
broken sprinklers.
Exactly.
heads.
Landscaping issues, dead trees, a broken bike rack. You can kind of see it up on the right picture. It's kind of bent over. Just overall, just kind of in disrepair. We also have some property maintenance issues with rusted out gutters, everything else. So all these are going to be addressed. We will be meeting with the property owner next Monday to go through, same thing as with all the Conte Guardians, go through, talk about everything that needs to be addressed, and let them start working on it. So these are just, I just want to touch on two of these. These are two cases that have come in the last 2 months that is like, for a small town, been a little surprising. The first was, and we reported on this with the illicit gaming operation. Just on the 4th of July, when I was out working, the sheriff's department had, and I was aware because I was, I'll go by the property, I've been kind of watching. Police department asked me, hey, we have this property, they've got a marijuana grow, they don't have a business license. Could you check it out? So when I went by on the 4th, still not seeing any activity, but then I went, whoa, what are all these trailers and stuff? Sheriff's department had come in with a warrant, done a seizure, and I'm not sure if the chief gave the report, but you know, over 10,000 pounds. It's pretty significant. So it might have been a nice business license. So, but just things that we're kind of bumping up against that maybe we're not anticipating, or you know, kind of popping up unexpectedly. And just kind of an overview of just some of the stuff that's going on. We have a lot of stuff out there, from sewage, we've got donation bins. The third picture from the left is one of our new homeless encampments where they actually have dug in and tunneled. Just some blighted properties. We had fire concerns with the wheat field. The one on the right that's a little cut off, that's one of the many backyards, like the one on First Street, that we're dealing with, trying to, you know, reduce the debris, rodent populations, and everything else going with it. So, any questions?
Council, any questions? I'm sure you guys got a lot of things to keep you guys real busy out there. There's a lot of issues.
It's getting busier and busier. Police have been turning to us. Hey, you guys did a good job with this. Can you help us with this? As well as other departments, working very close with Public Works. The city manager is very good when he's out and about, like, hey, are we working on this one? So yeah, we're extra busy right now. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Recreation, Jackie.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a few things to cover with you all to keep you up to date if you haven't seen everything going on. What we do have going on. Well, Summer Day Camp went on a field trip today, and thanks to Public Works and the police department, we had bus drivers and the kids were ecstatic. It was neat to see how all of our departments really do pull together to help one another out, however we can. And the chief suffered today with popcorn and sodas and 50 kids, so it was fun. Our swim team, for those of you that have Facebook, you've probably seen all of my proud mother hen post of our swim team. This last Friday, we hosted our very first meet in 6 years at the Livingston High School pool, and we got 21 first places. It was really, I am so proud of our coaching staff, of the kids, the parents all pulled together. We couldn't have done it without them. It was really exciting. Our next meet is at Patterson this Friday, and then we go on to championships the following Friday. Soccer registration is over. We have just at 400 kids. We're still in need of coaches for our younger division. If anyone is interested, please give me a call so that we have 71 under 6-year-olds, and I have 2 coaches, so we need help. Our summer ballet, summer art, and summer jazz classes, are going on. We've had great attendance with those. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is in our community study that we had was about the teen programming. And in our summer day camp program, we have 4 volunteers that have dedicated to come every single day to help, whether it's with arts and crafts, with sports, in the pool with the kids, and it's really neat to see those kids because they're going to grow up and be our future employees. We also started this year a junior lifeguard class, and Kim is our pool manager. She wrote the curriculum. We have 11 guards, so those kids come on a schedule during the week and help with lessons. They help picking up trash, whatever it is that Kim needs them to do, they're there and willing. And it's really neat because I see them so responsible and, again, future employees for the city. And the last item is we have got 15 kids that are interested in forming a teen council. We've been working on this since school got out, and Eric Aguilar, one of our rec commissioners, is taking the lead on it. Next week we'll be meeting with an adult volunteer who may be the passionate person to really take this to the next level. So we're excited about that. All right, so that's the teen information. If you notice the construction going on at Max Foster, and I didn't hear you say anything about this, so if I'm repeating, I'm sorry. We're putting a sink in at Max Foster with a counter so that when people have picnics and stuff over there, they have water and a place to put their food. That should be done shortly. Farmers market's coming along. Last Thursday, I stopped off after swim team practice to get my wonderful tomatoes. And Wick was there, and the line was from the museum all the way down to the Dollar Mart of people waiting to get their coupons to get their produce. So that was exciting. And other than that, Sweet Potato Festival. We are partnering with Lowe's Home Improvement Center. They're going to be running the Dress Your Tater, and they are actually have a booth at the Stanislaus County Fair. If you drop by and see them this next week, you'll get one of our sweet potato event flyers. So everything's coming right along. That's it.
Any questions for Recreation? Go ahead, please.
Just a quick one. My son and I are really enjoying the pool. You have the open hours this year, so we go out there and try to swim for 30 minutes. I wish I could swim longer, but I get tired. But your staff has been excellent and just been top notch.
It's good to hear. Thank you so much.
Anybody else, any questions for, oh, she's gone already. Okay. No, that's just wanting to make sure. Hold on a second. Before I go to City Manager, any other staff member comments? Legal? Any? Okay. Last but not least,
Sure.
Mr. Ramirez.
Yes. Honorable Pro Tem and members of the public and partners, staff has been referring to you might recall the Livingston stakeholders looking into the future vision session that we had. And so throughout this evening and many evenings to come, we'll be referencing this, because if you might recall, we kind of put together, this document and we kind of put in different categories the different things that were brought up by all those folks that were in attendance. And so we had a great cross-section of people from different small businesses, large, medium. We had, of course, school district representatives from the 2 school districts, and people from the community. Just everything is great. So for instance, you heard Anthony talk about several things. Well, those items that he spoke about are covered in this document. So what's nice about this is there's going to be some overlap, because different departments will, I'll just pick something. Let's just say promote youth leadership. Okay, in this particular case, we have a community partner out there like Jose Moran, and then of course we have Mr. Flores out here, and they're both doing different things, and we're helping and we're supporting. So as an example, the Young's Men's Conference, okay? And, how is the city supporting your efforts, okay? And so, there's a teamwork. Or the Young Women's Conference, that's part of promoting youth leadership. Another one was, the Livingston Unified School District bringing in, pequeños empresarios, which is the, small entrepreneurs into this town. So, those things. So anyways, we'll be talking about all these different categories, and those that we had not talked about, then those are going to be the focus of all of our efforts, to achieve. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about that in my comments tonight. So for instance, we talked about enhancing mentorship. So we made a very concerted effort to all the departments within the city to have internships available. So we've had quite a few. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's very important. And we know that several of these interns are one day going to be one of our future employees. Because, like everything, there's good ones, and then there's others that move on, and so forth and so on. And then when they apply, this is great. And we actually have that happen. So that's going on in every department within the city of Livingston. Another example would be, for instance, over at the sports complex, and, what can we do more for our youth? So Anthony was talking about, I don't know if he talked about Frederick Park, but at Frederick Park, we're looking at a half-court basketball, and so, our council, we're teaming up and we're coming up with ideas. These are not ideas that all surface from staff. Some of these ideas come from our council, and others come from partners like yourself in the community. So we want to hear from you. And so we look at how we can make it happen. Another example is, the murals. And so we've been, we've taken some road trips, and we've engaged some people, and we've already got our ordinance adopted and so forth. So we're moving in that direction. Another example would be we talked about Alzheimer's. We had a workshop here, and we talked about being a friendly, dementia-friendly community. So what are we doing? So we got to follow that up. Well, some of the things that came up were doing some sensitivity training, and so our public safety folks are going to get trained, public works is going to get trained. Everybody can benefit from it, because from different angles, but everybody will benefit. And so anyways, I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to hit on several of, there's a lot to talk about, but I only want to hit on a few just here and there every chance we have in our council meetings from the different departments. And again, some will overlap, and when I say overlap, they don't necessarily have to be the same thing. It just means that we're tackling that same category, as an example. All right, and our city engineer mentioned, Winton Parkway. I just wanted to piggyback just a teensy bit on that. So originally, that was slated to do a temporary fix. So we were just going to do a little bit of grinding and striping and moving things around. Well, we were successful in getting some money, and because of that, we're not going to do it twice. We're going to do it once. And so our hope is that we can get this thing going. Right now, they're looking at, as Mario mentioned, Carzan is going to be doing some geotech work out there to make sure that we can, what we think we can do can get accomplished, and start our project. So with that, if you have any questions, council, if not, thank you very much.
Any questions for city manager? If not, we'll go on to city council member announcements and reports. Councilmember McCabe.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Aguilar.
I don't have anything to report.
Councilmember Sicados.
Just want to extend a thank you, Jackie. Great job. That's Friday. I thought it was going to be chaos, and actually worked out very well. So thank all the parents, volunteers, also our little swimmers and our big swimmers. So that was a great job. And by the way, I want to also say thank you. I've been noticing that a lot of kids know you personally. Out of the 400, maybe 350 know your name personally. So thank you for getting involved with them.
Okay, and for me, I don't have anything either. And that's, well, then we'll go on to public hearings. First one is a proceedings under the Landscaping Lighting Act of 1972, California Streets and Highway Code 2250. I'm sorry? For the approval to levy annual assessment for citywide consolidated landscape maintenance and assessment district confirming assessment for the fiscal year. And we have Mr.
Mickey Ashley, Wildan Financial.
Okay, go ahead, please, sir.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. City Council has previously approved formation of Landscape Maintenance Assessment District Number 1, along with the methodology applying an assessment to properties within the district. The levy and collection of these annual assessments for the maintenance is for the maintenance of various lighting, landscaping, and park improvements within the zones. Staff has worked with Wildan Financial to assist in the preparation of the annual engineer's report and budget. On July 3rd, City Council adopted a resolution initiating the proceedings declaring the intent to levy and preliminarily approving the engineer's report and setting the date, time of the public hearing. This is the public hearing. This action requests that the City Council open the public hearing to receive testimony. There's one resolution before the council this evening to approve the levy and collection of assessments for the City of Livingston Landscape Maintenance and Assessment District Number 1. Upon conclusion of the public hearing, city staff recommends that the council adopt the resolution approving the engineer's report and setting the annual levy of assessments for fiscal year 2018-2019. I would be happy to answer any questions that the City Council may have.
Okay, this is a public hearing. This item is open to the public. Does anybody wish to come forward at this time? Seeing nobody coming forward, this item is now closed to the public. Council, any questions? If not, then I will entertain a motion at this time.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Councilmember Aguilar. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros?
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, item number 2, this is the proceedings under the Benefit Assessment Act of 1982, Government Code Section 547003, for the approval to levy annual assessments for the Livingston Benefit Assessment District confirming assessments for fiscal year 2018-2019. And go ahead, sir.
Yes, City Council has previously approved the formation of the benefit assessment districts along with the methodology applying the assessments to the properties within the district. The levy and collection of the annual assessments is for the maintenance and operation of various drainage, detention basin, and street improvements within each of the districts. Staff has worked with Wildan Financial to assist in the preparation of the annual engineer's report. July 3rd, City Council adopted a resolution initiating the proceedings, declaring intent to levy, preliminarily approving the engineer's report, and setting the date and time of the public hearing. This is the public hearing. This action requests City Council open the public hearing to receive testimony. There's one resolution before council this evening to approve the levy and collection of assessments for the benefit assessment districts. Upon conclusion of the public hearing, we recommend that the council adopt the resolution approving the engineer's report and setting the annual levy of assessments for fiscal year 2018-19. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
This item is a public hearing, so it is open to the public. Does anybody wish to comment on this item? Please come forward at this time. Seeing nobody coming forward, this item is now closed to the public. Council, any comments? If, see, nobody wants to comment, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Councilman McCabe. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Councilman Aguilar. May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember McCabe,
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros,
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, we'll move on to citizens' comment. This section of the agenda allows the members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public when recognize the mayor should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes in accordance with the state open meeting laws. No action will be taken by city council this evening for items such as which are on the agenda this evening. Members of the public will be provided opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. Citizens comment, please. Please come forward. Please state your name and address to the record, and remember, 3 minutes.
Daphne Ritchie, I've been here for 55 plus years, 1543 First Street. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you I appreciate the services of the code enforcer. Some of my pictures you saw. It's right next door to me. For over 20 years, I have asked the city for enforcement of codes at that residence. And I'm sure it was a drug house, it was a chop shop, it was a little bit of everything. The entire place was nothing but junk and non-code sheds and shanties. Yet no one ever seemed concerned that I had rats and mice and everything else coming over into my yard. I went one time to the county health department and they told me they could do nothing, that I had to work with the city. So I came back to the city, to no avail. The home finally went into default, and last November it was sold. Nothing was done to clean up anything, and by the end of April I took pictures to City Hall to complain that it was a mess both in front and in back. And thanks to Mr. Baines, he passed those pictures on to the right people. Of course, he owed me too. That's true. That brought a phone call from Lee, who told me who she was, and that she'd been by the house and was pursuing locating the owner. In mid-May, they began to chop down the front trees, stacking all the branches and the wood in the driveway and the yard. By the end of June, they had made no attempt to pick up any of this, even though they had been told they had until the first week of June to get it all cleaned up. As the 4th of July drew closer, my neighbors and I all had concern with the fire hazard, and so once again I expressed my concerns to Lee. Whoever these people are, they are a month behind in getting things cleaned up. Lee put the screws to them, and by the 4th, they had filled 3 dumpsters. Last week, they had filled 6 dumpsters. And the final dumpster was the 6th one. Now they're removing debris with their pickup. There's still work to be done in the backyard, but things do look better than when I took the pictures down to City Hall in April. There's yet a non-compliant fence that needs to come out. I understand that due to the grant she's working with, and in fact I saw this here tonight, this house is not under the purview of that grant. So Lee had to get permission to work on this project. Therefore, I'm here to express the appreciation of the residents of First Street, who are all residents that have been there for many, many years, to her and for getting something done, and to the city manager, whomever you are, whichever one you are. Is that you, sir? I don't know. I'm sorry. I appreciate your I appreciate your supporting her in doing this. And finally, after 25 years, there's some action, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good afternoon, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Manager. My name's David Thompson. I'm with Foster Farms, and I've got a prepared statement from the company. I work in 1333 Swan Street here in Livingston, and I live in Turlock at 2373 Roseboro Court. We're very thankful for the support of the city and the relationships with our neighbors. On June 26th, over 24 animal rights protesters arrived in front of the Foster Farms facility in Livingston. These protesters attempted to disrupt deliveries, attempted to enter Foster Farms offices and facilities, and intimidate our employees. The prompt response of the law enforcement to the protests ensured a peaceful resolution as people practiced their constitutional right to peaceful protest, while minimizing the effect on these protests on Foster Farms and our nearby neighbors. We have very much appreciate the patience and professionalism demonstrated by the Livingston Police Department in the face of vocal, determined, and organized protests. Thank you very much for listening to me and for the support of the city and our neighbors.
Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you very much, Chief, and your department, and Lee and your department.
Catherine Shaw Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163. Some of you may have noticed I've missed a few council meetings. I took the opportunity to take an extended vacation to go to Texas and see my oldest grandchild graduate from high school and visit with other family. Because I was away for 6 weeks, I was concerned about my family vehicle that was parked in front of my house and the other vehicle that was parked in my driveway. We've had a little bit of problems with, vehicles that have been in the same place for more than 3 days in violation of local ordinance, getting tagged as a possible abandoned vehicle. I felt I needed to make it a point to email the city manager and email the chief of police to say, hey, I'm going to be gone for a while. Please don't tow my vehicle if it happens to have a flat tire. Can you at least wait till I get back from Texas? Which brings me to the following point. I don't think most people realize that there is an ordinance on the books that can get your car tagged if it's parked in the same place for 3 days in a row. And we've had people that have had cars that otherwise could have been moved, been towed. One time I actually had a running vehicle that was registered and that I was driving tagged as a possible abandoned vehicle. Which leads to this question. I know the city gets reimbursed by the state for every single car that they tow and abate as abandoned. Could someone please tell me how much the state is giving the city for each vehicle that is towed as classified abandoned?
Wouldn't you go ahead and ask any other questions you have? That way we keep your clock. That way you don't run out your clock.
That's
That's
it.
it?
That's
Okay.
the one.
Thank you. Chief, do you have an answer for that?
Some Thank you for that question. The AVA program is a statewide program, and each county basically manages their own program. So to answer your question specifically, it's difficult because each month we work with each city on the percentage of vehicles that are impounded and the amount of work that's done by those specific cities, and it's basically pro rata. So I can give you an average of, and each reimbursement is for the time spent into removing that vehicle from the, whether it's a public roadway or whether it's private property, towing it to a facility, doing the paperwork. Each vehicle has to be, California Highway Patrol has a CHP 180. That's the tow form. It's basically one page that you fill out. It takes an officer probably about 20 plus minutes to fill out this document. Once it's towed, or once it's marked, that notification goes, our dispatch center will send a registered letter to both the owner and the registered owner if they're different. Sometimes the vehicle is owned by the owner, then it's just sent one, but they send it registered letter. That letter has to be completed by dispatch. They complete the information on the letter, they send it out. After a certain amount of time, the vehicle that is in question, if it's not addressed, then it will be towed. And again, that's where the CHP. So every single reimbursement covers the costs of our employees, our officers, dispatchers that conduct that waiver. And I'm going to say, and I'd hate to venture off, but I'm going to say it's probably like maybe $100 a vehicle, something like that, that is actually reimbursed to the city. There is a fund, and you know, our city department, finance department, has a fund that's specifically AVA related, and the money, the reimbursement goes into that fund. However, the fund, AVA fund, does not go back into the general fund. That fund is specifically to basically support any activities related to towing the vehicles. So if we need to get a vehicle that we could designate a certain percentage of that vehicle that's being used for AVA, then we can use a certain percentage of the AVA fund to purchase that vehicle, and that's something we've done in the past. So it's again, it's not, I can't pinpoint the exact cost because it's basically a combination of a percentage of the cities that are involved for that week. You know, there might be a month, or it goes quarterly, so there might be 3 months where one city doesn't participate at all. Another city might participate a lot, and so they basically, the revenues that come in, they're divvied up amongst the cities. So, does that answer your question? I can have Maribel, who's she manages a program, but again, it's something that we don't have specific numbers. They change, they fluctuate every quarter. They fluctuate the reimbursement. So.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else for citizens' comment? I don't see anybody coming forward. Citizens' item is now, citizens' comment item is now closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless a separate action requested by the city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council or city manager requests a specific item be removed. Number 3, denial of the claims for damages from Justina Garcia. Number 4, approve the warrants registered dated July 12, 2018. Does anybody wish to have any discussion? Or if not, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Councilmember Sicaros. Do you have a second?
I second it.
A second by Councilmember Aguilar. May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember McCabe.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros.
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, moving on to discussion and potential action items. Number 5, this is a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the employment terms for Brad Grant's employment as a retired annuitant to assist with specialized duties of the finance director position pursuant to Government Code Section 21224. And I'll hand it to Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Pro Tem Paul Samra. As you all know, our good friend and colleague continues to be out on extended leave. Unfortunately, his transplant of bone marrow did not work, and so he's going through chemotherapy again. And so we had welcomed him back, but he only had a short stay with us. And as you know, Brad Grant, who is a retired annuitant, there's certain provisions, and he can only work so many hours, and he has to stay within those. Otherwise, there's some penalties. So we've been working closely with our legal counsel to make sure that we put together a resolution that what met his needs, met our needs, and protected him from, any issues related to PERS. And so what you see here before you tonight is basically I'm asking council to approve a step increase from step D to step E, which is basically we're moving him up to $57.08, and he has to stay within those provisions of not being able to work more than 960, and he has to he has to stay within the salary range that we have for that specific position. And I know that our legal counsel might want to add some other things.
Legal, do you have anything to add?
I think the city manager summed it up, is just making sure with PERS, it's very, and the staff report points it out, but it's very important to point out that Brad didn't come in and fill a position while the city was recruiting to fill the position. The position, Odie still is the assistant city manager / finance director. Brad is coming in to assist with special duties related to that position, and also on special projects like tax sharing agreements, etc. Brad has been very helpful, but the resolution is meant, I know there's a lot of law in there, but is meant to comply with the new PERS regulations regarding hiring annuitants.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. This item is now open to the public. Does anybody wish to comment? Since no one's coming forward, this item is now closed to the public. Council? I just want to say that we all wish Odie the fastest recovery possible. He is a good worker. He's a good guy. And this is why we are holding the position for him. He's one of the best, smartest guys out there. And this is, hopefully, we'll never even have to run that 960 hours and come back faster than this. But this is, we need to move forward. We need to get a budget going too. So, council, if any have any comments, I will entertain them. If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the employment terms for Brad Grant's employment as a retired annuitant to assist the specialized duties of the finance director pursuant to Government Code Section 21224.
I have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember McCabe. May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember McCabe.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros.
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, moving on to item 6. This is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract agreement with Train Building Advantage to implement a full range of energy services, energy generation, and water-related improvements and related programs. Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Pro Tem, Paul Samra, and council and public. I'm happy to report that after hiring Noresco, which basically represents the owner, which is the city, we went through this rigorous process of interviewing and coming up with a scorecard and evaluation components. There's a recommendation for tonight, and that is to select and enter into a contract agreement with Train Building Advantage. If you look in the staff report, there's quite a bit of components that were looked at and scored. The other firms are equally, reputable, but Train was squeezed it out in terms of the overall scoring. Again, this was the folks who participated in this was myself, the Public Works Director, and representatives from Noresco. And we all independently scored, and we all asked the same questions, and we went through this, like I said, rigorous process. So the next step here is to, if council approves, we would be working directly with Train, Building Advantage, and then they will start bringing forward to council those projects. And I think tonight you're kind of feeling the heat a little bit because, you know, this has been taking a little bit more time than I wanted, but we're anxious to get going because we do have some challenges here, and we didn't want to piecemeal and start, you know, buying HVAC units in different facilities. It's better if we do it comprehensively and with some great expertise and direction. And that's only one component. There's many other components. So I recommend council that you authorize myself to move forward on this agreement with Train. And again, the projects will be coming before you. This is just so that we can start working with them as the chosen firm to help us with this process and follow the RFP, of course, with those conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. This item is open to the public. Does anybody wish to come forward? Please state your name and address for the record, and remember, 3 minutes.
Catherine Shaw Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163. I was wondering if you could just give just a brief Cliff Notes version of the kinds of projects that Train will be working on. I know we can probably all understand the idea of a, you know, air conditioning unit, but I know this is going to be much more than that. And if you could just like bullet point.
Sure. So I will refer you and the public to go to Exhibit A of the RFP. So if you go to the RFP, you can look at the Exhibit A, but I'll mention some of those. So we're talking, it's going to be pretty comprehensive. So we're looking at, solar, the possibility of installing solar in different facilities, whether it be the wastewater, whether it be any of the other city-owned facilities that we have, addressing the HVAC unit, looking at, on the water side, looking at the efficiencies at our different complexes, to have the moisture sensors and make sure that we're not overwatering or underwatering. Again, at the end of the day, is to save us having a ROI, which is a return on our investment, and then being able to pay for those by those savings, and then also looking for other funding that's out there and packaging them together. Other examples would be, for instance, for the water department, changing out which we call VFDs, which are variable frequency drives, so that you don't have the motors just ramping up, turning on and turning off suddenly, that they can ramp up. That uses a lot more energy. So they're going to be looking at all that. Other examples would be, the lighting. They might come back to us and say, what's out in the market right now for the lighting in this facility here, your rate of return is 1 year, you should replace them all. Okay, I don't know that, but these are the experts. And one of the things that I really was impressed with Train is that if you go to your RFP, you go to the actual Train proposal, and you go all the way to the back, let me point out where it talks about the executive summary, and you look at the savings potential, they actually have the software and the capability of being able to measure energy output every 15 minutes, so they can look at all day and say, hey, this is where you're using the most, this is what it looks like over a period of year. And they can say, your facility compared to other facilities that we've done, something doesn't look quite right. So let's investigate. And so they can look at that and then give us what we really need, not just what, just throw a safety factor in there and say, oh, this will just take care of everything. No, well, I only want what I need, not over or under. So anyways, thank you for your question.
Does anybody from the audience, anybody else have any comments to make? If not, is there a representative from Train?
No representative this evening.
Okay. Then council comments? If not, then I will entertain a motion at this time.
Make a motion to adopt resolution number 2018, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract agreement with Train Building Advantage to implement a full range of energy services, energy generation, and water-related improvements and related programs.
I have a motion by Councilmember Sicaros. Do you have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember McCabe. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Sicaros?
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, moving on to item number 7. This is to designate a voting delegate and alternate for League of California Cities Annual Conference. Annually, City of Livingston belongs to the League of California Cities, and every year there's a conference, and we send a voting delegates. And who is our, I believe, Mr. McCabe, are you our League of California? Who is our League of California?
That's me.
Cities. You're the representative for cities?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm asking for now
Yeah.
is for us to designate a voting delegate and an alternate. I know are you going to the conference?
Yes.
Anybody else going to the conference? Are you going to the conference? Okay, so.
Is Ranjit going this year? Do you know, Jose?
From what I know, there's the only person who's actually registered has been yourself.
Okay,
Okay.
Here's, if I may make a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure either, but I will be a alternate for now. If we can check with one of our commissioners, if they're attending, or if not, when nobody's attending in the council, then I will bring it back, and then I'll remove myself and make that person the alternate for at a later date, just so we can get this done for tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine.
Because we're not sure if he's going, so we don't want to appoint somebody that's not going. So if push comes to shove, and then we can't find anybody, I will go, but you know, I'm just a placeholder for now. I know you're definitely going.
Yeah. So I don't know if we need an alternate if we don't have anyone officially going. I mean, I'm gonna be there.
There's 2 alternates. You can go 2
Oh, okay, then what we'll do is our legal counsel has said that he will definitely be there.
Mhm.
So we can just appoint the legal counsel as a alternate designate, if that's okay with everybody else.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, that solves all these problems. Okay, then, so does anybody want to make appointments and a motion?
Let's move to approve, designate Alex McCabe as a voting delegate for the League of California Cities Annual Conference.
Okay, and do you guys want to appoint the alternate as well? Go ahead.
Who's going?
Say Myers Nave alternate.
Myers Nave as the alternate.
Okay. Would that be okay then? Okay.
What was my name, just in case they need to represent?
You got it. Put your name there.
Yeah. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar to list Councilmember McCabe as a voting delegate and Mr. Sanchez as our alternate. Okay, may I have roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe?
Aye.
Who's second?
Councilmember Aguilar?
Who's second? You second?
Did somebody second?
Who's second? Nobody second.
I'm sorry. I think I messed up. So I still have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Sicaros. May I have roll call, please?
Okay, roll call. Councilmember McCabe?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Sicaros?
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
The only reminder is the sooner you can let me know, the better, because otherwise we're going to put you in the pigeon house because the room's finished or it will get taken up and they cost more.
They can bunk together. They don't mind.
There you go. They can bunk together. They can call them bunkmates, you know. It helps the budget, you know. No, I don't want to be the third alternate. Okay. Okay. Council, any further business? If not, we are in adjournment. Thank you very much for coming.